Hi guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to have some Division 16 online ranked gameplay in the bantamweight division using none other than Song Yadong, who has recently received a buff in the latest update, along with a lot of other fighters, one of them being Sugar Sean O'Malley, who we're coming up against here. And this video was suggested a long time ago, about 4 months ago, by a subscriber called Aaron, so shout out to Aaron if he's watching this video. Took a long time to make this video. I just had a lot of videos that I had planned and it sort of slipped the back of my mind, but it just goes to show you guys that if you ever do suggest anything, I will remember. I've got it all saved on my notes, and then as soon as I have time to schedule that video, I'll do it. And I felt like this was now an appropriate time, considering obviously he received the buff, and yeah, he's definitely a very solid contender at bantamweight. I mean, bantamweight and welterweight, in my opinion, are probably the most stacked divisions, especially on the game. And there's a lot of elite level strikers, and with Song Yadong, you can look to kickbox, but primarily it is going to be very boxing heavy. And if you're forced to wrestle, it's definitely something you can do. You won't see that much in the two gameplay clips I've got here, which the first one's against Sugar Sean, and the second one's going to be against Cheeto. Obviously, Cheeto's slightly more well-rounded in terms of his ground game. He's got a very good ground game. Not to say that obviously Sugar Sean doesn't, but I just mean in the context of UFC 4, his ground game isn't necessarily the greatest. But yeah, this is definitely a more favourable matchup. We're not coming up against a wrestler who's going to look to try to take us down or hold us down. But in the event you are getting outstruck by one of the elite grapplers in the division, outstruck by one of the elite strikers in the division, such as Sugar Sean, you've got Cheeto, Corey Sandhagen, Rob Font, Petor Yan. There's a list of elite strikers. So in the event that you are getting outstruck, you could definitely look to wrestle with Song Yadong. He's definitely better on top than he is on the bottom. And yeah, if that's something you have to implement, then do so. But obviously bear in mind that he's not going to have the best wrestling. Although in real life he is training at Team Alpha Male right now, so maybe that will improve with his future fights, and then we'll see that reflect in game. But one thing I like to do with Yadong is, just because he's so powerful, you've really got to protect your legs, because you don't want any of that power to get mitigated, because that's the one thing that can really change the fight. Is when he cracks hard, and you can feel the sting in the punches, because there will be times where you're getting lit up, you're getting hurt, and then out of nothing you'll crack your opponent with a hook and they'll just go to sleep. And that's something that I definitely noticed in the games that I used him. This is the first one here of me using him, so I actually decided to keep this one in, just because this was the first time with me using him. You can see I'm testing my range there, trying to figure stuff out, and I was just figuring out what he had, what tools he had in his arsenal. And I think I had around 4 or 5 fights with him. I think I ended up winning all of them, if I am correct. Yeah, I think I won all of them, and he just felt very good. And definitely would recommend, being patient when using him. Try to keep that stamina as high as you can, so you can really rip those combos. Definitely work the body with him, because you just want to deteriorate your opponent's body health. And also look to work the legs, because the quicker you take out the legs, the easier it's going to be for you to get into those boxing exchanges and not have to worry too much about your opponent's power. So that's one of the reasons I really do go for legs. And you can see that although this round started off fairly bad, I'd say, with Sean O'Malley getting the stun off, and ultimately just getting better of the exchanges, finding his range really well. As the round progressed, I really started to find my range, started to figure out what was working, and as a result of that, ended up getting my own stun. And you can really see that I really went into this fight, the end of the fight, well, and the game plan started picking up from there. So jumping into the second round, definitely going to be looking to do more of the same things, and it's those little adjustments that can really mean a lot in fights. It's figuring out what your opponent's trying to do, and then based off that you can really figure out a game plan, formulate it and adapt. And you can see coming out into this second round, you'll see that I've made some of the reads that I needed to make. You see pull counter there, which was pretty cool. This was after my fights with JG's, and obviously that's something he does a lot, is pull counter with elbows. So it's something that I was being very cautious of and trying to practice. Bang! That head kick was timed so well. Switch kick to the body. And this is when I was realising he had all sorts of things like in his arsenal. He had the switch kick, he had the spinning kick to the body, And it's only here that I really started to pick up. Like I said, it was my first time using him in a long time, and this is obviously after his buff. So I wanted to use him correctly and really utilize all his skills. Like I said, predominantly I will be boxing because that's what he feels super clean with, and kickboxing where need be. And grappling will sort of be a last resort. I'm going to try to keep it on the feet as much as possible. And right now, Sean O'Malley just doesn't have the stamina to compete. As you see, beautiful switch kick lands. And even when he's landing these strikes to the head, just because he doesn't have the... also, his legs also hurt, but just because he doesn't have the stamina advantage, he's not doing too much to me in terms of damage. So I can afford to take those shots. And you can see just pressure in here, that body hook somehow sends him into the middle of the octagon when I was trapping him along the cage, which is not ideal when you're working into that position, but nevertheless keep the pressure high, really looking for that pull counter and being careful for the elbows, the uppercuts, because he knows I like to go to the body, and that Celtic cross, which is level 5. So you see sway the knee there completely, just being very patient, work the lead body uppercut there, throwing a lot of feints, try sneaking my own elbow there just to see if I can catch him with it, and throw the leg kick when I'm in that range. And you've just got to be very smart, especially when you're the shorter fighter. You've either got to be all the way in or all the way out. You don't want to get caught in that middle ground, because in the middle ground is where the fighter with the bigger reach is just going to absolutely light you up. And with Sugar Sean being the taller fighter, the longer reach, and also just a crazy arsenal and the barrage of strikes that he can throw at you, you really don't want to get caught in the middle ground. So definitely the more patient approach, but it's patient slash aggressive, because it's aggressive but calculated. Maybe that's the way to word it. It's not like Cody Garbrandt aggressive where he just goes crazy. It's, I know that I can push forwards, but I'm still wary and respect my opponent enough to know that there could be multiple shots coming back. So it's about really picking and choosing when to gauge and go into these battles. And ultimately in this second round, it's really worked out well for me, in the sense that I've been able to pick exactly when and when not to go, taken very little amount of damage, and yeah, ended up getting the knockout finish there after he goes for a flying knee. And coming into a fight here, still in Division 16 against Cheeto. Now Cheeto is very good, very good. I'm not the best with him, but when you come up against a good true Cheeto player, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare if they can use the reach well, if they can use all his arsenals, all his kicking game, his elbows, his boxing, and not to mention he's very good off his back on the ground. So taking him down isn't always the easiest result. So once you do get him down, you have to work with his dangerous ground game as well. So I'd say definitely one of the better fighters, and this fight here is going to be extremely technical. Now, the guy I matched up with has beat me before, and I believe when he did beat me, he just outstruck me. Now, if you watch my channel long enough, you'll know that I'm not necessarily the greatest striker. It's something that I've always been trying to improve on, and even now, I'm still not the greatest striker. I'm still taking, you know, little steps, little increments, getting better by the day, and learning off, you know, the better fighters, whether it's on ranked or watching people like Goat, Pry, JMMA, Jay Jeezer, Romero, watching all these guys and just trying to build off what they're doing, and, you know, see if there's anything that they're doing that I could implement in my game. So I'm definitely more of a mixed martial artist. I like to, you know, mix everything in, and that's when I'm at my best. But obviously when I'm using someone like Song Yadong, I do really want to try keep it on the feet for as long as possible and implement his strengths, because his strength is staying on the feet. And you can see right now that we're trading body strikes very early on. And one thing I noticed that Cheeto was doing very well is he'll slip my straight and then whack me with an uppercut to the body, and that's going to just drain my stamina over time. So, and then he'll mix in the uppercut to the head. So very good level striker that I'm facing here. So trying to be as careful as possible, but obviously I need to stay in that range, that boxing range, because that's where I'm going to have the most success. And you can see that as soon as I go into the boxing range and I empty the stamina tank, I'd move back so he'd miss me with the roundhouse, and then I'd re-engage straight away. And it's little adjustments like that that can really help you out, because I chose not to stay in the range where he could light me up, especially when I had no stamina. I reassessed the position, readjusted, and then moved forwards again. And you can see these leg kicks are going to start adding up and causing problems as the fight goes on, because at the moment he's not checking them right, and not checking those leg kicks is very dangerous. And you can see that it's the subtle movements. That's something that I'm trying to get better with, is that filtering in between those ranges, not staying in the pocket for too long. And it really does help, because when you float between the ranges, you're harder to find, and Being harder to find, of course, makes Cheeto miss more punches and kicks, and by missing more punches and kicks, the stamina gets lower and lower, and it's just easier for you to build up. And you can see, bang, whack that leg kick again. And the leg kicks are working really, really well in this fight. Good movement there to stay off the center line. Luckily, he didn't throw the hook from his lead hand, otherwise he would have intercepted me as I swayed across. But Cheeto's doing a good job of pressuring. You can see mixing in the pressure well. Beautiful slip and uppercut there, and then lands a good head kick to end the round. But I believe that was just after the bell. So very interesting first round. I believe I landed more of the significant strikes, but this Cheeto's a very, very good player. Like, the way he mixes in the strikes, and you'll see as the fight progresses that I think I start to get a bit more comfortable, but it's not to say that Cheeto doesn't do extremely good work. Like here, I mean, look at the speed in which he's throwing these uppercuts to the body and then mixing it up to the head. And normally it would be a fight like this that does cause me a lot of trouble. I do tend to get hit with uppercuts a fair bit, especially because I like to prioritize going to the body. So that's something that I'm definitely trying to improve on. But you can see, ultimately, I'm just being patient. I'm still getting hit with strikes, and right here we don't get the better of these last 3 or 4 exchanges. And I had to reassess there because he ripped me to the body at least 5-6 times. And look, he's done it again, and then he set up the head kick. But fortunately, had good stamina, and my head health hasn't deteriorated that much. And he's really ripping my body. I mean, if you just look at this first minute of round 2 and look at the amount of damaging body strikes he's thrown, it is nothing short of ridiculous. Like, my body is getting hurt bad, and credit to Song Yadong's health stats because it's really keeping me in there because he's doing phenomenal work. And you can see he's starting to bobblehead, which is it's never the nicest thing to come up against, let's put it like that, because bobbleheading it's just a really weird tactic. But all credit to this guy, it ends up working. I suppose you avoid most of the strikes. See here, good combinations, good little flurry, and we've got the leg health event, so that's very important because it's got to deter him from throwing more leg kicks, which is perfect for me. And not only that, it's going to allow me to really target that leg some more. Now I know that the other leg's hurt, his right leg, I'm going to go for that left leg, and hopefully it keeps him locked in this stance because yeah, he was doing some real good work, and that leg health event made him switch stance. So the longer the fight stays in this stance, the more comfortable I feel. And I need to start catching him with the uppercuts. You see, I caught him with the uppercut to the head, then went to the uppercut to the body, just because I sort of need to match the body work he's doing on me. And what I'm going to wait for is when he starts bobbleheading to throw strikes to the head rather than go to the body, because I know it's not going to hit. You can see now he's getting slightly more impatient in the sense that before he was setting up his attacks more and really trying to work the body, whereas now he's thrown 2 head kicks in close proximity just to really see if he can get that flash knockdown and potentially finish the fight. And I can see the way Cheeto's moving, the stamina may be an issue going into the third. Leg health is definitely going to be an issue. See, he tries to bait me there, and this is a sign of a high level fighter because he's trying to bait me into certain strikes and he's predicting it. He doesn't predict the head kick there, so we get the leg health event this round, and we also get the stun. And you can see that little subtle, if you watch that last 20 seconds back, you'll see the little floats in between boxing range and kickboxing range is to where he misses the strikes. He goes for the takedown here. I did not mean to go for that spinning kick. I meant to go for the switch kick because it's something that I wasn't utilising. I was just so caught up in the moment I was forgetting to utilise the switch kick, which could do a lot of damage. But yeah, so round 2 I'd say is definitely mine. Round 1 was fairly close, but I think I had more significant strikes. So going into round 3, I'm in a very good position. I just can't look to get finished, to be honest with you. I either need to just keep the pressure and see if I can get a finish, or you can look to coast, but I never recommend coasting, especially against an elite fighter, because the pressure can be overwhelming and eventually you will crack, and it's not going to be worth it in the long run. So I'd recommend doing what you've done to get you to the position that you're in, and just keep building up off of that. I see the uppercut lands there, but Cheeto's head health must be in a very, very good position because that's not the first time I've landed that uppercut. But it's just done a little to no damage, so I'm guessing that predominantly my leg and body work is what's winning me this fight. Obviously the stun to the leg of the round before, and then the head kick out of nowhere, obviously got a stun as well. But I don't want to throw the head kick too many times because it's only a matter of time before it gets predictable, and once it's predictable you will get slept as a result of it. So it's something that I like to filter in where possible. And you can see the pressure this round's completely different. You can see he's a lot more aggressive. Look at the bobblehead in there. I mean, it'll be virtually impossible to to hit his body, hit his head there. He was just moving it so quick, so just had to be very, very patient. The staying out of range as much as possible, and then when I am in range, trying to fire back. He's really trying to catch me with the significant strikes now, so I know he's going to try to set up that head kick. He's going to try to catch me with the uppercut as it breaks through the guard there, and the pull counter elbows will obviously work really well for him as we land our own uppercut. And I'm just trying to slip every, say he's throwing a 3-punch combination, I'm going to try to slip one of those punches and then take the rest on my block, just so that my block isn't getting melted completely, because then obviously that's never going to be a good thing, because he will eventually whittle away and break through that block. So you can see I'm being a bit more patient this round, still firing back where possible, working in the knees, which is something that I wasn't working in the rounds prior. Try land the uppercut, and you can see he's just a lot more aggressive when we're in this pocket. He's really looking to exchange. I believe he knows he's down on the scorecards, first round being mine and second round being mine, so he knows he needs the finish, and winning this round is not going to be enough for him. So I know that too. Beautiful uppercut to the body there. And you can just see it's been an extremely technical fight. Like, head movement has been a very, very important factor for me this fight, just because I know that my opponent here has got elite level striking. He's trapped me against the fence here, and this is where it's really dangerous. It's a good job that I avoided at least one of those strikes, because I could have been in real trouble being trapped up against the fence there. He just would have looked to break my block, overwhelm me with pressure, and keep moving forward. So the knees are working very well in this round here. You can see he's really trying to go to the body, hoping to get that body stun and then maybe partner it with going up top. But with 20 seconds to go, I'm feeling in a good position. Definitely know I'm up 2 rounds, and I probably haven't run this round. He's done very good work this round. He should have probably been a bit more aggressive the round prior, and the first round as well, but significant strikes and damage ended up winning the fight. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching me utilize Song Yadong. Definitely boxing is going to be his best attribute, but filtering kicks and definitely filtering knees, that's something that I didn't add too much of. Hope you enjoyed this last fight in particular against the opponent who's got extremely good striking. And I'll catch you in the next upload. So if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more UFC 4 content. And I appreciate the support. See you next time.